There's been a development in the Conor McGregor case in Dublin. I'm just going to read it out from The Guardian. It's something insofar as Nikita Hand has been vindicated, and this courageous woman, in my opinion, deserves enormous credit, as to those around her, her, um, her legal team, her family, her partner. Those around her also deserve support, but she particularly deserves credit for the courage that she's shown. I'm going to read out the report here. This is by Lisa O'Carroll. MMA fighter Conor McGregor assaulted woman in Dublin hotel, jury finds in civil trial. McGregor ordered to pay nearly €250,000 in damages to Nikita Hand after he was accused of 2018 assault. A jury at a civil trial in Ireland's High Court has found that the Irish martial arts fighter Conor McGregor assaulted a woman who had accused him of raping her at a hotel in Dublin in December 2018. McGregor was ordered to pay nearly €250,000 in damages to Nikita Hand, who is also known as Nikita Lamin. Apologies if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Lawyers for Hand had accused McGregor, 36, of brutally raping and battering her after she invited him to join her and a friend at a work Christmas party. Hand also alleged that another man, James Lawrence, who joined the party, sexually assaulted her. The jury found that Lawrence did not assault Hand. Speaking outside the court after the verdict, Hand, 35, told reporters that she was overwhelmed by the support she had received. She thanked her family and a staff member from a rape crisis centre who had sat beside her throughout this entire period, including the 2-week trial. Hand said, referring to her daughter, "I want to show Freya and every other girl and boy that you can stand up for yourself if something happens to you, no matter who the person is, and justice will be served. To all the victims of sexual assault, I hope my story is a reminder that no matter how afraid you might be, speak up, you have a voice, and keep on fighting for justice." She said she hoped to rebuild her life now that the 6-year-old ordeal was over. Hand, who grew up in the same area of Dublin as McGregor, took the civil court case primarily to be vindicated, her barrister had told the court, after the Director of Public Prosecutions decided not to pursue a criminal case on the grounds that there was no reasonable prospect of a conviction. And that in itself is I think that warrants a real debate point regarding how these things are processed. The same in Britain, actually. McGregor doubled over with his head in his hands and shook his head as the jury returned its verdict and awarded Hand damages of €248,603. He said later he would appeal against his decision, writing on X, "The judge's instruction and the modest award given was for assault, not for aggregated or exemplary damages. I am disappointed that the jury did not hear all of the evidence that the Director of Public Prosecutions reviewed. I am with my family now, focused on my future, focused on praying on more women, no doubt. You absolute piece of shit." There were tense scenes. That's obviously my interlude. I think, I don't hide what I think of McGregor here. There were tense scenes in court as McGregor arrived with a large supporter and family contingent, including his partner, Dee Devlin, his mother, Margaret McGregor, and sister, Aoife McGregor, along with his, again, apologies on Irish names here, it might be Aoife McGregor, along with his boxing coach, Philip Sutcliffe, standing at the back, just feet away from Hand. McGregor had denied the allegations, saying that he had fully consensual sex with Hand. He also denied causing bruising to her. He told the court that Hand's accusations against her were full of lies verging on fantasy. Hand had told the court that she and a friend made contact with McGregor, who she knew, after a work Christmas party. She said they were driven by McGregor to a party in a penthouse room of a South Dublin hotel where drugs and alcohol were consumed. She said McGregor took her to a bedroom in the penthouse and sexually assaulted her. Hand's lawyer, John Gordon, said she was on antidepressants and full of drugs at the time of the alleged assault. The verdict is likely to renew questions about the difficulty of bringing rape cases to court. Hand's barrister told the court this week that whatever the outcome, she would always be a marked woman. That is an appalling thing, because she had the courage to stand up to the fighter. Hand had told the jury she was absolutely devastated and let down when the Director of Public Prosecutions told her that he would not be progressing her file. Over the 2 weeks of the trial, the jury heard harrowing accounts of the incident, including a 45-minute recording of a conversation in which a deeply distressed Hand told her then boyfriend about the alleged rape. The court heard Hand saying McGregor had pinned her down on the bed with all his body weight and claiming he put her head in a headlock, mock choking her 3 times in the terrifying episode. And one of the most disturbing aspects of this case occurred earlier this year. This is from the Irish News, um, and the reporter is John Breslin. Masked and armed men carried out invasion of the home of Conor McGregor accuser Nikita Hand. And the jury in this latest trial didn't hear that. The judge deemed it to be irrelevant. I'm just going to read this out briefly, thinking of time here. Masked men broke into the home of Nikita Hand, then burst into her bedroom before being driven out by her partner, who suffered stab wounds. So he's yet another victim of Conor McGregor. Um, but details of the attack, which happened in June, were not revealed to the jury in the trial of Conor McGregor after the judge ruled it was irrelevant to the claim of assault. A jury on Friday found McGregor assaulted Miss Hand after she accused the former MMA fighter of raping her in a hotel room in Dublin. Miss Hand's counsel Ray Boland revealed in the submission before the jury was sworn in that the group, all wearing balaclavas, carried out the attack in her Drimnagh, South Dublin home on June the 14th. The court was told that they were driven out by her partner. Very, credit to him. That's some bravery. Who suffered the stab wounds. Her young daughter, who was in another bedroom called 999. Mr. Boland added the gang broke into the front windows of the house, then fled before Gardaí arrived. On behalf of Miss Hand, he wanted to introduce the event into evidence, presumably as a character thing, and anyway, he added that her lawyers were obviously not laying that at the feet of the defendants or saying they had anything to do with that, but were claiming it was linked to supporters of Mr. McGregor. Mr. Boland added the jury would be told McGregor had nothing to do with the attack, but was relevant, to the claim that she had to move from Drimnagh and relevant to her state of anxiety. This was absolutely part of the trial. Counsel for Mr. McGregor said it was something they did not know about and it was extraordinary there would be an attempt to smuggle it into the case. Justice Owens ruled it was completely irrelevant and should not be referred to during the trial. Shame on him. References were made during the trial to Miss Hand needing to leave her home, but not the reason. I think that is very relevant because when, taking how difficult it is for a woman to proceed rape charges actually against any man, but particularly someone like Conor McGregor, I think is very relevant as to why she would leave her home, because that's the sort of thing a jury would be sitting down and looking at. So they have a right to know the reason. And her defense team aren't saying that McGregor kind of ordered them in to break into her home. He probably didn't. But the thing is, this guy has so much support. He's 10 million followers on X. And some of his fans, I have no problem saying, are absolute knuckle dragging degenerates. People who look up to a man like this, probably rapists themselves. The fact that they would break into a woman's home and terrorize her and violently assault her partner, um, it's absolutely disgusting. I don't know if they faced any justice. They've probably not been identified because they're worthless cards wearing masks. But that's the sort of people that support Conor McGregor. Again, he probably didn't personally order it, but this is the culture that builds up around this man. I think it is an important case. Now, the 248,000 euros, it's really nothing. The domestic violence campaigner David Challen made a good point. Um, he's pointed out Nikita Hand's bravery as a testament to the power of standing up, no matter how powerful a person on the other side may seem. She didn't just fight for herself, she fought to set an example for her daughter, for survivors everywhere, and for a future where justice isn't determined by fame or fortune. Um, and he's also made the point that it can absolutely be said now. Conor McGregor is a rapist. Conor McGregor is a rapist. And as David Challen says, this should ring loud in his ears for the rest of his life. He has been found in a court of law that he is, in fact, guilty of what he was charged with. Nikita Hand has been vindicated. This woman has endured abuse, anxiety, simply for trying to get justice. McGregor scuttled away from the courtroom, avoiding reporters' questions, swaggering out like the thug that he is. Um, it's a disgrace that he's not in prison, an absolute disgrace. And the sad thing about this is, although she's been vindicated and she's got a payout, her safety cannot be guaranteed. Conor McGregor fans are knuckle dragging thugs, a lot of them, and we've already seen that she's faced violence. Her partner has faced violence. This is the price that it takes to stand up to powerful men like McGregor. I'm reluctant to call him a man, actually, but sadly, he is protected by his wealth and fame. You know, there is a chronic problem in both Ireland and Britain with survivors getting justice. There's court backlogs, very, very few cases actually lead in a conviction. This isn't to say I don't agree with the mantra believe all women. There are women who lie, but as a premise, there should at least be some sort of sense of confidence that the system will take them seriously and will process it seriously. Um, I think there is a problem here with justice for victims. I think it is an absolute disgrace. Um, what sickens me about this is McGregor's going to be able to get on with his life. You know, he is a multi-millionaire many times over. He'll be able to continue his sporting career. I believe he's 36, so he could probably still go on for a few years. Um, I just hope he gets seriously hurt in the ring. I sincerely mean that. I wouldn't usually say that about any fighter. I think it's quite a blunt thing to say. But I genuinely hate this man. And I hope someone hurts him badly because he's a bully boy thug. And the only language bullies understand is force. He's in a violent sport. I hope someone puts him down badly. Um, and I hope the person who does that is a decent man who is not Conor McGregor, whoever it is. But you know, it's a sad thing that millions of people around the world admire this man, and many young men in Ireland look up to him and elsewhere. Those young guys, I would say to them, don't look up to someone like Conor McGregor. If you want to look up to a fighter, look up at the Klitschko brothers, look up at others who deserve a lot more credit than Conor McGregor. This case highlights a lot of things. I mean, it's good that Nikita Hand's been vindicated, and the payout, you know, some people would say, oh, it's a lot of money. But really, when you consider the wealth McGregor has, a few years ago he was named the wealthiest sportsman in the world. I don't know what his wealth is valued at, but it certainly goes into tens of millions. So really, that's nothing. It's like a small parking fine for him. Um, I think if justice had actually been served, he'd be in prison. And it shames the Irish justice system that he isn't. But it's, I suppose, better than nothing. At least she has been vindicated. Um, to all those who support McGregor, shame on you. Obviously, I expect his family to support him, but you know, people who don't know him, people who think this is someone to admire. But then again, we live in an era where a rapist has just been re-elected to the White House, so that's the world we're in. Um, you know, I have often criticised feminism, and I do criticise some of the sexist double standards towards men, but as a man, I do think it's important to speak out in cases like this. And it's not good enough to say it's just one example. This is true of many powerful men. Look at the Muhammad Al Fayed allegations. I mean, women didn't go forward because of the culture of fear that was there. It's extremely difficult for a woman to speak out against a powerful man. Extremely difficult. And although there was the whole Me Too thing, we still see cases like this. So decent men everywhere have to, it's not good enough just saying, oh, well, I'm not like them. We have to be honest and say there is a problem with a culture that promotes the likes of Conor McGregor. And I think there's a celebrity thing there because if he was like a random guy on the street who happened to be a rapist thug, he'd be rightly vilified. But because he's a celebrity sportsman, you know, the notorious one, he certainly is notorious. I think he's one of the worst human beings I can think of. Um, It's also incidentally why during the Paul Tyson fight, I wasn't jumping on board with all those who were treating Mike Tyson like a hero. Again, Mike Tyson may have moderated in his old age, but his record speaks for itself. Although I think McGregor's probably worse. I think McGregor's more prolific in terms of the number of allegations and actual assaults he's been involved in. Um, it's a sad thing that, you know, someone like Conor McGregor has 10 million followers, and you know that's really a sad thing. I just hope that he's clearly escaped a prison sentence. I hope that Nikita Hand stays safe. I hope the Gardaí do their job and forcefully go after anyone that threatens her, um, or her partner or her family. Um, and I hope Conor McGregor is really, really. I hope it gets under his skin. I hope it does. I hope every single fight he goes into now, his opponent calls him a rapist, because that's what he is, and that's not just an allegation that has now been found in a court of law to be the case. So that's what he is. Um, I'll be honest. I went to his X page and told, posted some of the stuff. I'm expecting maybe some abuse from his supporters, but it has to be said. It has to be said. Someone like this shouldn't be glorified or praised. They just shouldn't. And with that, I'll leave it there. But Conor McGregor is a rapist. He's a bully boy thug. His record speaks for itself. He may be, good at what he does. He obviously has significant fighting skill, but he uses that for all the wrong reasons. Someone with his power and prestige should be a positive influence. Instead, he's a toxic influence. But huge respect to Nikita Hand and her supporters for staying strong. And I just hope that other women can feel some confidence. Maybe I hope her vindication helps them a little bit. For example, a woman who had her car bombed because she made allegations against McGregor following an allegation of an Ibiza assault. Um, I do wonder, though, those around McGregor, like his partner, I wonder if deep down they wonder, what am I, if Dee Devlin wonders, who am I married to? If she genuinely, genuinely believes him, or she just feels she has to. I don't know. I would question the judgment of women who defend someone like Conor McGregor. Um, and like I say, it's a toxic influence on young